Hey fellow radio heads, I want to show you a kind of an uncommon radio this afternoon. This one is a Montgomery Ward's Airline. It was made in 1937 and the model is Airline number 93WG-802B. It was made again in 37 by Wells Gardner for Airline, and it's not a radio you'll see every day. It's got kind of an interesting dial. Now I repaired this for a customer, and the customer did not want to do at the time did not want to do work on the cabinet, principally because we are not able to, as of yet, find a new escutcheon for the dial. So I'll show you real close. The dial's got some serious cracks in it. This is the way it came. And all of the holes for the screws that mounted the dial were all busted out. So I made these little semicircular washers from brass washers. And I went ahead and installed the escutcheon the best I could with those. And it actually doesn't look too bad. Of course, the escutcheon was made of tennite in the late 30s. Tennite was a popular material used by Silvertone and Airline and some others. Philco had some, and RCA used it. Some of the nicer RCA radios are made difficult to restore because this tennite material tends to shrink over time. It doesn't matter where it is and what environment it's in. It doesn't seem to anyway. And it shrinks and it warps and it cracks. And the trouble is, because it's time related, it's not like you can just go out and find another part, because any part you find is likely to be the same or in a similar condition to this one. It's rare that I see a tennite part that has not been molested by time. It does happen. I do find them occasionally, but it's rare. And I'm not sure what the difference is, how it is that they survived where most did not. But in any event, this is otherwise a very nice radio. It has a beautiful cabinet. I love the wood grain on this cabinet. And it's got some nice detailing. And as I said, this cabinet has not been restored yet. But the cabinet itself has some nice detailing and will be exceptionally pretty when it's all done. Now, I'm not going to do this restoration work. I stopped doing that a while ago for customers because it just takes me so much time, where folks who do it all the time are so much faster at it. There is some damage to the cabinet. It looks like it was punched at some time, and I did my best to just kind of keep that stable so I didn't make it any worse. But if you can really see some pretty wood grain on this radio. It's just a very nice looking radio, nice design, nice curves, and a unique dial. Real pretty to see. Now this does use an eye tube that is quite difficult to get, and it's a 6AD6 is the eye tube. They're not impossible to get, but they're spendy. They can be replaced with a 6AF6, as in Frank. The only trouble is that the angle of the deflection, in other words, the angle of the pie slices that are taken out of the eye, are about 45 degrees off, maybe between 30 and 45 degrees off from the AD6. That's okay. It still works just fine. I'm not sure what the application was. Those are a little cheaper, but they're still spendy. So, eyes are eyes. Eyes cost money because, just like tennite, eyes will die over time whether they're used or not. I've bought several new old stock eye tubes, get them out, put them in the radio, and they're either dim or not working at all. It does happen. Of course, some of them are fine, and this happens to be one that's a little tough to get. It's a stubby little tube, and I replaced the one in this fella's radio because his AD6 was very dim, and was not, it worked, but it wasn't lighting up brightly enough to see in all but the darkest room. Where this 6AF6 that I put in works pretty well, and I think even though it deflects, the slices are at an angle, I think he's going to be pleased with the eye. It looks nice. All right, we'll go ahead and turn this on. This is a push button turn on. And you can see the dial lamp lit up back there. I just love the dial on this radio, and if I could find one of these or a tabletop equivalent, I would be thrilled. These are really cool radios. And it takes a minute. I did use the teachings of Jesus work. I did use a thermistor, so it actually increases the length of time it takes to come up, but it also helps protect the switch from arcing and the tubes from problems if you know, if the rectifier is ready to conduct before the other tubes are ready, that kind of thing. So thermistors are nice. It lowers the voltage a bit too, which helps me to control the voltage in the chassis with the higher wall voltage that we have these days. Now you see what I mean there with that eye tube.
What is that?
Not your big.
It was too far in front of him. We've got his fingertips on it.
It's kind of a cool looking eye.
At the Habitat Restore.
It's pointed up at an angle, and with this little eyelid, it's pretty hard to get a good shot of it, but you can see what's going on here. And of course, there's a nice tone control on this. It's a nice radio, real pleasing sound. The volume is up on the upper left here. Better change the station before I get myself in trouble.
Will cause you all kinds of tumult, upset.
Hi, this is Doug Wright, and haven't I all... Even after becoming a Christian, you needed to be...
Stability, because...
4 in the 5 in that drive, and to dominate a game in the first half like the
Okay.
Marlins dominated a game, and to come out here in the first drive...
Now I'm going to hook up through the, I made some small changes inside, and we'll go ahead and use the phono input jack. This fellow's never going to use a 78 RPM phonograph with this or anything with a crystal cart. And so I made some changes so that it would play with other accessories, including a little Bluetooth receiver that I've got connected, and I'll put a little tunage through the thing with my Bluetooth. I'll be right back. Well, it turns out that I can't. It does work great, but I can't record and play through my phone at the same time, which is unfortunate. So I'll see what I can do with perhaps maybe with some headphones. All right, now we'll start. Finally got it hooked up with my wife's cell phone. Here we go. All right. Now that's playing from that little bugger right there into the radio. That little bugger is connected through there, through that cord into the phono jack that's on the radio. And on this radio, you have a little switch that you switch between phono and radio. So there you have it, a 1937 Montgomery Ward Airline 93WG-802B for boy. Pretty cool radio. Lots of fun, and I think the customer is going to be quite happy with it. With that, I think I'll end for now. I thought it would be kind of cool before I shut that video down to show you the inside of this particular Montgomery Ward radio. You can see that pretty clean chassis, no corrosion, nice condition. I dressed up a few things. There were a couple of bad tubes, actually one bad tube right up there, and then they had the wrong output tube in place, and so I put the right one in. And the one they had in there was, oh heck, I think it was a 6. I think it was a 6V6, and I put a new old stock 6F6 in there. The 5Y3 that they had in also was in rough shape. It had the glass envelope was real loose, and it just didn't look very good, and it tested weak on the tube tester, so I put a nice 5Y3 in there as well. So all in all, a really nice looking radio, really clean. It does have automatic push button tuning, which I forgot to mention before. And let's put it on radio here. And I've disconnected the antenna, so disconnected the antenna, so not so much, maybe not so many things come in. But here's how this push button tuning looks. I forgot to show this, and I love this. It's totally mechanical. Really cool stuff. Now I haven't done any presets because they're so easy. I thought I'd let the customer do his own presets. Really neat. So anyway, there you go. I'll close her down again. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you next time.